All right, so my first bold prediction for 2025 is that I think that max damage cap is going to be, by the end of the year, is probably going to be upwards around 200 mil. Like that is the peak that you can get. And I think right now it's about 110-ish is what the high level players are at. The maxed out players. So I honestly think 200 mil is not that far off. And we have to go back to what the beginning of 2024 was like. I think the highest cap was probably in the 30s or 40 mils. And the fact that it went from that to what it is now, it makes me feel like 200 mil is definitely possible. And I think a few guarantees is that the arcane gear is coming out, right? So that's going to, for Will, and that's going to boost. We're going to get exalts up to 70. We're going to get new set bonuses. We're going to get obviously more cap. So I think right away, I think it's a few pieces. It's not all seven, right? I think Will and then the new boss, the new Hilla, is going to drop it as well. So there's going to be multiple pieces that are going to exalt up to 70, which is going to be like, just imagine from each level from 50 to 60 right now is 1 mil cap every 2 levels. So if you go from 60 to 70, I can imagine that per piece is easily like what 10 mil cap more from 60 to 70 on average, right? So that's an easy way to get up to 150 mil. And then I think they're going to add in more max damage cap in a lot of different ways. Again, what they've been doing the past year is getting max damage cap here and there from Legion, through set bonuses, through souls, through exalts, all these different ways to get max damage cap. I think they're just going to build off of that. And some of the ideas, kind of bold predictions that I think they're going to do is, one, they could do bonus potentials, which we know is coming out in February. I think a lot of people don't think that is going to be the case, but my thinking is that if it's just going to be raw stats, right, that isn't going to incentivize people to roll it as quickly, right, invest that much. Because for me, at where I'm at right now, I'm pretty much capping full buffed anyways at 98 mil cap, right? So there's no reason to rush into doing bonus potentials to get more stats that is not even going to help me in real bossing, right? So if they give bonus potentials, or if they give bonus potentials the option of max damage cap, then for sure, like that player base is going to grow and want to roll those. And it's just another route, right? It could be ignoring me defense as well. I wouldn't leave that out of the questions, but I definitely think max damage cap, though most people don't think that's going to be the case, I think it's a definite possibility. And it'd be probably a great move, in my opinion, at least for whether it's armors or certain pieces, maybe not all of them. But I definitely think that there is value added if they do max damage cap for those. And then the next thing, obviously, is I think that they can rework emblems, right? That's the one thing that they haven't touched yet in a long time. And whether they add on more stats, like whether it's, I could see them going a few routes, right? Maybe each level from level 1 to 5 gives you more max damage cap, just straight up. So everyone's just going to get a boost, right? If you're level 5 emblems, you're going to get X amount of max damage cap. Or, I don't want to say it's crazy, but impossible, but what if they add levels 5 through 7, right? And you get max damage cap what it is now. And then on top of that, you have an option to get even more max damage cap at level 6 and 7, right? Because Nexon isn't going to give stuff away for free, right? They're not just going to give you, I mean, they may, but they're going to try to find a way to incentivize people to pay. So just giving free cap from 1 to 5 is probably nice, but then I wouldn't be surprised if they do more levels in order to increase max damage cap. Now, I'm going off the books there, right? There's no basis off of that. This is just me being spitballing. But I definitely think that emblems should get reworked this year, and adding stats to it by itself, I feel like isn't that amazing. Max damage cap is always a great, easy way to please everybody. And then naturally, things like they've been adding more exalts, gains from exalts in the past year. I could see them doing that. They could always use Tinker with Legion, give us more cap there. Base cap, I think KMSM in this past December update, their base cap went up to 100 mil. Now, we're not going to get that, but I wouldn't be surprised if that is something that comes into play, right? If something that is something that, you know, they boosted max damage cap at anniversary, kind of similar to how they did it for KMSM. So I think that's a big boost as well. Please everybody. But I'd love to hear what you guys think, right? What, could they give it to weapons max damage cap? Could they give it to secondary weapons as well? Like not the souls, but just like the base stat, right? Added on, like how they added on 4% ignoring me defense to mythic secondary weapons. Maybe they'll add cap as well just to mythics or legendary secondary weapons or things like that. So I just believe that there are a lot of ways that they can do it. And if just some of these hit, right? We already know Arcane Gear is going to come through. We already know we're most likely going to get a base increase. I would expect some sort of exalt system increase as well, just naturally, whether it's through, like they've been doing this past year. I think there's a lot of routes that they can do to increase max damage cap. And I think if they do that, 200 mil is easily doable. And in that case, I really do. And the reason why I hope that and expect them to do something like this is because I think right now, 2025 is going to look like it's Capstory. I think KMSM, PC, one of the things that differentiates our game from theirs is that cap is pretty unlimited in those games. Like the stats don't actually, like as much stats as you have in those games, it's hard to cap. So right now, stats are outpacing caps still in a lot of instances. So I think that my expectation and hope is that 2025 is more about just cap, right? Lines are pretty consistent. Lines are balanced, as balanced as it's going to be. Now, it's going to be the cap that makes a difference. And it's going to make things like party final damage, boss rush potion, more percent stats, bonus potentials, things like that is going to have a much more bigger impact when your cap is so much more out of reach, right? And like even things like changing up your rotation. Some skills may be added to the rotation because maybe they didn't have a lot of lines to begin with. But since cap is so high, you're not hitting that cap, this high skill percentage skills are actually going to be more valuable. Like for a paladin, for example, our Heaven's Hammer is a level 100 skill that isn't even in our bossing rotation because it's so low lines, but it has high skill percentage. So if maybe they decide to change that up, cap increase, then maybe that comes into play for paladins or other classes as well. Certain skills can be added, and that just changes the game. That makes it more fun and more exciting, something really to look forward to. And if you guys made it all the way to the end of the video, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe and join the Discord community. The Echo Clan community is growing, the best community in the game right now. And if you want to take your gameplay to the next level, improve your gameplay, do more damage, do more DPS, you definitely want to subscribe. The first 7 days are free and you're going to get full access to everything in the channel. So you definitely want to check that out. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys next time.